Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Vape Now, Vape Proud. My name is Nick T. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Lemo Drop, which I did purchase for $34.99 at a company called Vapor DNA. You should see it either right here or right there. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it. I'm never sure. But anyways, let's go ahead and just go down and take a look at it, and let's have some fun. All right, folks, so we are up close with the Lemo Drop. Just a few specifications before I go through it, even though I'll probably mention it again. The device is a 23 millimeter device. It does have adjustable airflow, which I'll show you here in a minute as well too. But first, let's go ahead and just go into the box real fast before I go any further. This is the box that it comes in. If you have the original Lemo, you'll probably recognize this because it's pretty much the same cover. It does show the regular Lemo, which is a 5 mil Lemo. The drop version is 2.7 mils, but in my opinion, what you lose in size, you actually gain with flavor and even vapor as well too. But you'll notice that it does have a box for either Lemo or Lemo Drop with a little picture on the side. In my personal opinion, I would just get rid of this and just do a whole new box. I mean, you know, that's my opinion. I know that they're trying to save money on costs, but I mean, really, I think that should be done. This is where the device would be if it was put together. Pop this open. Now underneath you do have a user manual, which I looked over it pretty quickly. It is good. It does show you all the specifics on it, so I really don't think it's very bad. You do have a little DIY guide for beginners as well too, which I think is pretty cool. And then on the bottom, now I do have a couple nitpicky things about this. This screwdriver that they have in here, it will work for the rebuild section, but for the fill port, it won't. So you'll actually need a different screwdriver for the fill port. So that's kind of a, not really a nitpicky thing. I think they should have the correct screwdriver in here. Now also you'll notice here, and I'll see if I can get in there pretty good, the only screws that you'll see are these two little screws. That's going to be for the rebuildable section. There is no screw, no replacement screw for the fill port. I think that's important. I think you should have at least one screw for the fill port, because here's the one for the fill port, and there is none like that in here at all. So that's a mild little thumbs down, I guess you could say. There is some extra grommets, extra parts to go ahead and seal in your glass tank and whatnot. And then you have these cotton balls, which I don't know anything about this cotton, so for the rebuild I will not be using it. And then you do have Kanthal wire. This is 24 gauge Kanthal. I use 24 gauge Kanthal, but I'm not going to be using it on this build. I'm going to be using 26 gauge Kanthal with this build. So let me just go ahead and put everything that was in the box back. All right, so let's get to the down and dirty. We'll go ahead and start with the bottom cap. This does have a fully adjustable 510 pin, which I'll go ahead and show you right now. Now, another thing that I wanted to tell you, when I actually first got this, it was a pain in the ass to get this 510 pin to start adjusting. So what I actually had to do is I had to pop out this complete assembly right here, the 510, grab it from this little base right here, and then just go ahead and just torque it so it'll actually come loose and be able to adjust. So with that, I think they may need to do a little bit more testing on that. Now here, I've noticed when I've used this bottom cap, there is condensation that comes in here, which is perfectly fine. But, you know, I do recommend cleaning it out if you're going to be using this. Now you'll see these 4 little black lines right here. Let me see if I can just get in a little bit closer. Yeah, you can pretty much see them right there. There we go. You'll notice those in the actual build part of it as well too. So let's go ahead and go there. As you can see, the rebuildable part is a lot like a K-Fun. One thing I really like about this, there is a huge airflow hole there. So the airflow that you're going to get out of this compared to a K-Fun, absolutely. I mean, at least to me, I own 2 K-Funs. I get way more airflow out of this than I do any of my K-Funs. Now, also, you'll notice the insulator right there. The juice wells are quite a bit wider than any of the K-Funs that I have as well, too. Let me see if it'll zoom. Yeah, there you go. And also right here is going to be the fill port. There is a rubber stopper right here, which will be helping to hold your glass in place. Now, another thing that you'll notice too, there is, I'm having a little bit of trouble focusing. Damn it, come on. Oh, there you go. Okay, so, wow. Come on, camera, thank you. There is holes inside the posts as well too. Now, I'm sorry for the focusing here, guys. Let me see if I can adjust real quick here. Okay, let's try that. Now, you'll notice there is some places where you can actually put the wire in here. I put 24 gauge in there, no problem. I don't have anything higher than 24 gauge at this time. So I haven't tried anything over that. I just actually put them right under the screws, just like I would a normal K-Fun build. And then you'll see on the side, it does say Lemo drop. This is the black version, obviously. And it does say Eleaf on the other side. Now, on the bottom, where you're going to be controlling your airflow, just like the regular Lemo, is actually in this part right here. So, as you'll see, there's 2 little slots on each side here to where you can kind of grab in it with either a screwdriver or something a little bit smaller than that and just turn it. Now, if you turn it, I believe it's counterclockwise. That's going to, let's see. Yeah, counterclockwise is going to, if you have it all the way, that's going to leave the airflow all the way open. That's usually where I like it. But if you do it the other way, it's going to go ahead and close off your airflow. So it's kind of a pain in the ass that you have to adjust it on this little ring. But I'll tell you what, I mean, it's never moved around on me once I actually finished my build or connected it to a device. So, I mean, for me, it's just been set it and forget it. So it really hasn't been a big deal for me. There's your fill port again. I kind of wish that, at least on this version, or just on all the Lemos, that we would have gone to a top fill method. But really, once you put the screw in this area right here, it's really not that hard to do. Now, remember how I was talking about the black markings on the bottom cap? Well, there they are again. That is overspray from when they were painting the black Lemo. Quality control issue there. I would like to not see that. It would be much of a cleaner look. Of course, it's not going to show on the outside, so some of you may not be bothered by it, and unfortunately, I kind of am. Now, here's the chimney part that you'll put on your build deck once you finish rebuilding, which we'll get to in a moment. Much like the K-Fun, it's a little bit wider. And then this is going to be the top of the chimney. As you can see, the stem, well, basically there's no stem on here because it pretty much goes all the way up to the top. So it's very, very small, hence the reason why it's called the Lemo drop. And then we do have the Pyrex glass. Another thing that you may have noticed when I was showing you what was in this kit, there is no extra glass portion. So if you do break this, you're going to have to order some more glass. That to me is a little bit of a thumbs down as well too. I think that we need to see some extra glass pieces if you're going to have a glass tank. Also considering it's a relatively thin tank. So if you hit this really good somewhere, this is going to break. So I think the need for a replacement is mandatory. I'll go ahead and put the screw by the build deck because that's for the fill port. Top cap, pretty much like a K-Fun. But it's pretty wide open in there as well too, which is a nice change compared to a K-Fun. And then the drip tip. The drip tip is a wide open drip tip. It is wide bore. Now, Another complaint that I have here, besides the glass, besides not having the extra screw, I would like to see a variety of drip tips in these tanks. Like, for instance, when you have a Lemo drop, I would also like to see the drip tip drop to about there. That's my own personal opinion because I like using smaller drip tips. But I think maybe they should think about putting a long stem drip tip in there like this, still wide bore, of course. And then maybe a smaller one as well, too, to where it's about halfway cut off. Again, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Some people may like the longer drip tip, but I think having a smaller drip tip would be kind of a nice feature. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into rebuilding the sucker. Let me get my, let me get this. Okay, so for this rebuild, I'm just going to go ahead and screw the bottom cap on. Now, another trick that I'll show you right at the end is how I actually use this. This hybrids onto an Eleaf Supreme, which is a really, really cool feature, and I'll go ahead and show that to you once we get done rebuilding this tank. Let me see if I can, let's focus a little bit better. Okay. So if you've seen a K-Fun rebuild, you pretty much know how I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and catch the leads under the screws. Just go ahead and adjust this. Actually, let me go ahead and flip this over. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let me go ahead and just do that real quick. Right. It's under. Oop. Might need another screwdriver. Oh, there we go. Okay. Right, that's perfectly fine. And let me go ahead and catch the other lead. I did this a little bit shorter than the other one, so this one's a little bit harder to catch, but that's perfectly fine. Oh, it just came off the base. Hold on. Tighten this down there real quick. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Make sure that it catches. That's right down to the screw. And that should be just fine. Okay. Go ahead and adjust this a little bit. In fact, let me go ahead and cut off these leads. I'll probably have to adjust it a little bit more. But let me just go ahead and get in here with some nail clippers. Try to get it as close as you can. Okay. All right, perfect. So, this is the coil that I have on here now. It looks really, really sloppy, but I'm going to go ahead and fix that here in a second. Let me go ahead and take it off of this device. In fact, I'll show you how it hybrids onto the Eleaf Supreme right about now. So the great feature about this is if you do have one of these, the Eleaf Supreme, you turn it on to, it just hybrids on to the device, so you don't need the 510 connection because it just hybrids right on. So let's see, I've got it at about 16 watts right now. Let me just go ahead and fire this sucker. Okay, take a look. Yeah, it's about fine. So let me just go ahead. And again, it doesn't matter how it looks, it just matters how it performs. This, still a little bit of problem there. So I'm just going to hold the tweezers on it for a second. So I just basically turned that sloppy looking coil into a microcoil. A little bit further back, sorry for the hand shaking. And let's see. Yeah, we'll call that about good. Let me just do one more tiny adjustment here. Let me fire it one more time. And we're going to go ahead and just gently strum the coil to a little guitar action there, and let's see. Boom. That's what you want right there. Alright, great. So let's go ahead and cotton this bad boy up. This video is already running longer than at least I wanted this section to run. That's okay, we're almost done here, guys. So, let me get this out of the way as well, too. Alright, so let me just go ahead and cut off a bit of this Kojindu. I cut so sloppy. It's pretty pathetic. Okay, there we go. As you can see, one end is much longer than the other, but it's okay. I'm going to take one of the top layers off here, and then just going to go ahead and that thing's pretty packed in. In fact, let me do this. I'm going to try to cut a straighter one here real quick. I don't like how that's working. Told you I'm pretty sloppy at this shit, but you know what? I'm not a professional coil builder or professional wicker. There we go. Just doing it off camera, so it's a little bit easier for me. I mean, I'm 36 years old, so my vision's starting to go. Still sloppy, but you know what? That's actually a lot better than it was before. Okay, so I'm just going to take one end, kind of roll it out. Let's go ahead and cotton this bad boy up. Roll it up a little bit more. Okay. Oh. All right. Get in here and screw this down a little bit more just in case. There we go. Okay, so there we go. It's really not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and snip off the cotton. I like to snip it off right about there. Alright, perfect. So got a little bow tie, as I like to call it. Little bow tie of cotton. Okay, so let me go ahead and grab my juice. Oops, not that juice. Oh, I've got my little vape band attached to the bottom here. I'm going to actually attach it to the device here in a moment. Alright, so let's go ahead and just drip a little juice on here. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and just pack this down. I'll use, where is it at? There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to use my flathead screwdriver. Kind of gently press it up against that wall. Might need a little bit more juice on there. Not much, but a little bit. Okay. I know this is ultra boring, but if you like seeing rebuilds of this for the millionth time, you may like this. Okay. This one's probably going to need a little bit more as well. Yeah, seems okay. Okay, so we'll call that now. Actually, I will put a little bit more juice to be an adhesive. See, it's still kind of going all over the place. By the way, it's really, really hot where I'm recording right now. I have to stand hunched over, and I kind of have a bad back. So this is kind of killing me right now, but I'm finally going to get this done and get this out here for you guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and put on the chimney. Make sure none of that cotton gets caught in the threads. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if it fires. And there is vapor. Perfect. It's not as aligned on the airflow hole as I'd like it, but it seems to be pretty much just fine. I don't think I'm going to have any issues with it. Okay, and then the next part that we'll go ahead and do is we'll put on the top of the chimney. I like to fire it again just to make sure it does fire. And as you can see, there is vapors. Okay, and then let me go ahead and take it off of the device. Now, next part we're going to do, again, make sure that these rubber grommets or rubber stoppers, you can't really see it very well on the video, but they're clear. Make sure they're on both sides, like so. So I'm going to go ahead, put on my glass nail, hold it in place, make sure that my threads are catching. The threads aren't too bad on it. It's not the best threads I've ever seen on a device, but it's really not that bad. There we go. Make sure not to tighten it down too much because you don't want to break that glass again. Okay, so now next step for me, we'll go ahead and put on the drip tip too, why not? It's going to be filling this bad boy up. So with this tip bottle, I'm able to just put it on the hole there and it fills just fine, like so. And like I said, it does hold 2.7 mil of e-liquid. I don't fill it all the way up to the top because I like to give it a little room to breathe. I find that if I don't give it room to breathe, sometimes it does give you dry hits. Okay, so as you can see, I just kind of threw the screw in there. You'll see that there's a little bit of magnetism going on. Just a tiny bit, really not much. But it's harder to do on cam. But usually it's pretty easy to just go ahead and grab the screw from in there and put it into the hole. There we go. Okay. All right, just make sure that you're in the threads. Perfect. All right, so there is the completed Lemo drop. All right, and what we'll go ahead and do is just put it on this device. And then we'll go ahead and go back up, and I'll show you how her vapes. Okay, so really quickly, I wanted to show you how it works on the DNA 30. As you probably know, if you have a DNA 30, it does have this little lip here. I was thinking, yeah, it'll clear. I have tried to adjust this down as well too, so it'll hit the pin. But every time I do it, this is what happens. Check atomizer. So unfortunately for this particular DNA 30, I have not been able to use it, which is kind of a bummer because I really like box mods. And I would really like to use it with my DNA 30 and such, but I guess that just means I'll have to get another box mod. But I am hybriding this onto the Eleaf Supreme. Right now I do, oh, by the way, the coil ended up being 1.1 ohm. This is going to be it at 18 watts, which is equivalent to 4.4 volts. There you go. So how's the vape? Well, let's go ahead and show you. Now that's at 18 watts. Let's go ahead and bump this thing up. Let's do 4.7 volts, which is going to be about Yeah, about 20 watts. Flavor jump. And by the way, I'm using a 70 VG juice in here. One thing you'll notice right off the bat, if you're familiar with the K-Funds, the K-Funds definitely have a more restrictive draw. I have a K-Fund with one air hole in it. I have one with 2 air holes in it. The airflow on the Lemo drop, it just really blows it out of the water. It really, really does. I can take full-on lung hits, and there's really no issue. One thing I may have showed you, or may have not, it does have 2 air holes on this side, 2 air holes on this side. So the ring that you adjust, if you adjust it one way, it closes off the airflow holes that are under that ring. If you open it up, it opens up those air holes. So I got to tell you guys, this, to me, I mean, of course I use a lot of drippers as well too, but for the convenience, for the form factor, for the size, for the juice capacity, which I am going to go over the pros and cons real quick as well too. This is one of the best vapes I've ever had, people. It really, really is. Let me take another. Okay, so really quickly, let's go ahead and go over the pros and cons. Let's go over cons first. The 23 millimeter size, it wasn't working with my DNA 30. So right there, that's going to be a minus because you may not be able to use it with some of my devices. It could just be the box that I'm using though. But just to let you know, it was not working with that box. No extra glass tank with this, so if you do drop this and break that tank, you are going to have to go ahead and buy a replacement, so you might as well just buy a replacement right then. I know Vapor DNA, where I got this one from, does have replacement tanks for $4.99, I believe. Also, the no extra screw for the fill port. You just get the one screw. So again, if you lose that, you can ask Vapor DNA if they have replacement screws that they sell, but I didn't see it listed on their site. The screwdriver that comes with it, like I said, it only works for the top deck. It does for the rebuildable portion. It doesn't work for the fill port. So there's that. They need a new screwdriver. Kind of a con to me, I think that these devices now should give you a choice on drip tips as well too. Like if you want to use the longer drip tip, you have it there. But if you want something smaller, like if you like a palm sized drip tip or a smaller drip tip, they should have one that maybe is just cut in half right there and sanded down, still painted right. So you can just interchange them without having to buy something completely different. I would actually pay a little bit more if they included that as well too. The fact that you do have to fill from the bottom, and that can be a pain in the ass. I think we're starting to get past the point where we have to fill from the bottom. But yeah, and plus this lip right here, which I didn't mention, I know it has cut some people. So it is a little bit sharp. Mine's dulled down a little bit, and I think it's because I've been using the hybrid connection. So it's kind of dulled down the sharpness of that a tiny bit. Already went over the screwdriver. The way you have to adjust the airflow, I would rather see something just on the actual base on the front to where I can adjust it from here instead of having to go into the bottom and, you know, get a screwdriver or something smaller to go ahead and fit in there and adjust it that way. For me, I mean, it's really not bothersome. I've never had it change when I put it on a device, although I know some people wear it that have reviewed it. It has changed on them when they put it on the device. So that is going to be a thumbs down. The lip on the bottom I just mentioned. The box itself that it comes in, just the front cover. I would rather see a picture of the actual Lemo drop on there instead of the regular Lemo with the check boxes on the side. I would rather just see the product that you're actually getting. So once you open the box, oh, what do you know? It looks just like it does on the front cover. So that's a small minus. You know what? Another kind of minus that I have is that it only does come in 2 colors, stainless and black. I actually wouldn't mind seeing it in other colors. Maybe like a dark blue or a dark purple or a red or a green or something like that. To me, I would like to see that. I don't know about y'all, but I mean, that's just me. The overspray that you saw on the bottom, which I'll go ahead and get this off of the device and show you again, that does kind of bug me a little bit. I would like to see quality control, maybe get rid of that on further versions, but you know, it may not be on all of them. It's on mine, so I'm just letting you know. What else for minuses? Maybe that's probably about it. Oh, another one. These are again minuses that you know, I find it myself. It may not be important to all of you, but the cotton that comes with it, instead of having cotton balls, I would rather see like sheets of, you know, Kojin dough or something similar, like Japanese cotton like I use in my builds, instead of those cotton balls, because really you don't know where those cotton balls come from. If you do want to put the cotton balls in there, maybe put something in the instructions, the specs on the cotton, just to let you know, if it's organic cotton, if it's, you know, maybe not organic cotton, which wouldn't be a smart move. But yeah, the cotton's kind of a minus to me. Another minus to the 24 gauge wire that it comes with. There's a lot of people that maybe are used to like 28 gauge or 26 gauge builds, and they may not want to adjust to the wire that's in there. So that's just kind of another step that they have to do. They go, I mean, it's really not that bad. They're just going to have to adjust the build that they're possibly used to. Another thumbs down. I didn't show you in the when we went up close, but when you actually get the device, it comes pre-built with a coil which is rated, mine was rated a 0.9, I think, and it does have cotton already through it. The build on it, that's perfectly fine. The cotton on it, I would just go ahead and rip out. Since we don't really know anything about the cotton, I would just get rid of that. I mean, it's fine if you want to go ahead and just have the build on there. That's kind of cool, actually, but I would just leave the cotton out of there. So now, the pros. It's a 75 millimeter in length device, so it's very, very small, so that's very nice. Another minus, the 2.7 milliliter capacity, that might be a minus to some people on the drop, but I'll tell you what, the regular Lemo holds 5 mils, and it's the exact same price, $34.99. So if you don't want the drop version, you can just get the bigger one. Now, I do like that you can use the 510 connection, or if you have an Eleaf Supreme, you can just hybrid it onto that. That I love. I love the fact that you do have a wide bore drip tip. I mean, that thing is pretty wide bore, as you can see there. Although, of course, I would like to see a smaller drip tip added. The ease of build, if you're used to, let's say, a K-Fun style atomizer or something like that, it's just a really, really easy build. I do like the fact that there are holes to capture bigger wire in there. Me, I just go ahead and put it right under the screws it myself. You know, I'm so used to K-Fun builds that it just comes natural to me. The airflow that's under the coil as well too, much improved over any K-Fun style. The coil built in, like I mentioned before, that's a plus as well too. I would just dry burn the coil carefully and just make sure that it's working and stuff your own cotton in there. I do like the fact that it does come with a Pyrex glass tank, although I would like to see an extra one already in the box. And then the real superstar of this is the airflow. It's not like a dripper airflow. It's not like, let's say, my Plume Veil, but it's very, very good airflow. It just seriously kills any K-Fun as far as the airflow and even the flavor. The flavor is just outstanding. This is the closest in a rebuildable tank style that I've tried. That comes to my drippers. I mean, the flavor is just amazing. I'm going to take another vape. And I mean, look at those clouds. I mean, for a K-Fun style, I mean, that is just excellent. So overall, I'm giving this a very high recommendation. Like I said, as far as the tank styles that I've used, not like the sub-tanks or the Atlantises or the ones where you can get the pre-built coils. Just out of the K-Fun style rebuildables, the Lemo drop is absolutely my favorite. So if you're into K-Fun style rebuildables, run out and get this as soon as you can. I really can't say enough good things about this thing. Besides the minuses, which there were a lot, I mean, really, you can overlook it. And another plus, too, the price, $34.99. I mean, come on, you guys can't beat that. So anyway, that is my review of the Eleaf. I hope you found some of that information helpful. Again, if you want to get a hold of me, feel free to email me. I'll leave my email in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And vape now, vape proud. See you later, guys.